Defense in Madden is hard, but by the end of this video, my goal is that you're able to learn at least one thing that's going to help your defense play better, which is ultimately going to help you win more games. And everything I'm sharing with you today are actual things I've used myself to help me win tens of thousands of dollars playing professional Madden over the past few years. So if you're somebody who wants to win more games, let's get into the video. This is an RPO read, and this is the best style of RPO in the game because I'm just going to show you why, all right? Let us look at who the read key is here. It is this slot corner on the left. That is the read key for an RPO read, meaning that guy's playing the read option. If we were to take this guy and put him in a, let's say a vert hook and pass commit him, you would think he would play his vert hook, right? No, he is going to play the run. What that means is that he is not going to play the bubble at all on the RPO. So even if we did something like, okay, hey, buddy, I really need you to play this RPO right here, right? I need this to get defended. Need the RPO to get defended right here. You're still the read key. Guess what? He doesn't defend it. RPO reads are the best type of RPO in the game. I'm going to show you how I like to defend these bad boys because they're just really, really good. First and foremost, you have to have somebody outside of the tackle. So right here, notice where the read key is here. He is the defensive end outside of the tackle on the side of the bubble. If I pinch, this changes. Now, if you have to run a defense where you pinch or something, what I like to do then is to take an interior defender and man him up onto the bubble. That is what you have to do. You have to use an interior defender and man him up onto the RPO guy, because what this will do is even when that guy kind of bugs out, you'll be able to get help. It is as simple as that to stop 90% of RPOs. Just simply man up an interior defender onto the RPO guy, and you will be good. And this also applies for if they're running like an outside screen, I would just man this guy up onto him. Now, you could also keep in mind, if I move this guy down, look who the read key is now. It's actually him. So, in this case, guess what he's not going to do? If I move him down, he's now going to play the run. But we had the guy outside of him in a hard flat. So you just have to be conscious of who this read key is. And I think the easiest thing, dude, first and foremost, run a defense where you have somebody outside the tackle on the line of scrimmage. A really good example of this is like if we went to something like 3-3 Cub and we tried something like this. Okay, let's go here. Look who the read key is here. It's going to be the outside backer. Now, if we pressed, look who the read key still is, right? Still the outside backer. But imagine we were in a defense where we didn't have that, right? Let's just say maybe this guy's out here for some reason. Look who the read key is now. It's going to be that middle linebacker up there. Each formation could be just a little bit different, so it's good to just kind of know where the read keys are on your formation. And really, again, try manning up interior defender onto the bubble guy or the screen guy if it's a screen. And then two, having hard flats from your outside guys, like a slot corner or something, helps a ton, okay? Like, seriously, that can help so much. You see right there, we actually manned it up and had a hard flat. The hard flat made the tackle, but the man up actually was the guy who picked it off. Really good combination right there, right? Super easy. Hard flats, man ups, and if you had to super sell out, right? You were in a situation where you just had to sell out, hard flat, outside corner even. Okay, like this right here, something like that is going to stop the RPO, right? And I don't recommend selling out like that, but it's just something to keep in mind where those hard flats really do a good job as long as they are not the read key, which is going to be typically the first guy outside of the tackle on the side of the bubble. Again, in this case, it's him. I move him in. Look who it is now. Kind of changes. Just got to learn for your defensive formation. Use man-ups and hard flats. And if I've given you value so far in this video, you'd be doing me a massive favor by considering hitting the subscribe button. This tells YouTube that you actually enjoyed the video, and that should be shown to more and more Madden players just like yourself. Two of the most underrated things in this game are dive tackles and strips. Now, let's first talk about dive tackling. This is going to be used with the X button on Xbox or square on PlayStation. And you just want to point the left stick in the direction that you want to dive tackle. This gives you a kind of, it almost like will suction your players sometimes to the ball carrier and help you make open field tackles, especially on like if they're in just straight open space, or if they're in a situation where they're kind of behind the line of scrimmage running behind a fullback or something. So let's go here and let's call just, can we go random runs? And let me just show you what dive tackling looks like a little bit. And we'll see if we can get a strip in here too and showcase when I think the strip is really good. So like that is an example of a dive tackle. Notice how my dude Superman dove and made a play on the ball carrier. Now, sometimes you'll just trip them up, and sometimes you'll actually get like a full animation. Let's go right here. Boom. Right there, I dive tackle. I could have hit sticked in that situation with the right stick up. So you do have like, dive tackling isn't the #1 thing you have to do if you can line the hit up. Instead, I like it for when we're a little bit like off-centered, and I love dive tackling in that situation. Now, the strip button is RB or R1 on PlayStation. Let's see if we can get it. Like, that's a dive tackle situation through and through. You don't want to hit stick there. You don't want to hold A or X on PlayStation. You want to dive tackle. Now, if you ever see a situation where the ball carrier gets stood up, what you want to do is click on to the nearby defender and spam RB or R1 to strip. This will get you a lot of like late strip attempts where they go for like that peanut punch, or they go for just like straight up clawing the ball out. This is massive, and it honestly gets you a lot of extra turnovers. So like, let's see if we can see an example. Even like right here, if we have a super situation where like the guy is like clearly about to get tackled or is being tackled, that's where I want to really try going for the strip. Even right here, like in those situations, I want to try clicking on going for the strip. You've probably seen it happen in your games before, where the ball carrier gets stood up, and right there, dive tackle every single time. But the ball carrier gets stood up, and you get a late fumble. That's because someone's coming in and going for that strip super late. Let's see if we can get an example here. Right there, I'm going for the strip. Even though we don't get a good animation, we want to give ourselves the potential of it. One fumble can legitimately win you a game like in Madden, right? All it takes is one. Go here. Right now, I'm going for the strip late, and I didn't get a strip animation, but I am at the very least going for it, and we might be able to get a strip right here. Oh, we're definitely hit sticking Jared Goff. Yeah, if you get a one-on-one with the quarterback, strip or hit stick him. You got to hit stick again. Line that bad boy up with the right stick. Hit stick is up on the right stick. If you have a big running back, you can hit stick down on the right stick, which will give you a cut stick, and that'll help you, like, if you have a size disadvantage, just take out their knees. So if you look at the player I'm on right now, you see I can see his assignment. It's a mid-read, and if I switch over to the deep half, I see it's a deep half. Now, I get asked all the time, how do you see the exact player of only the player you're using? And I figured I'd just show you guys my entire settings. It's inside of the game options, and if we scroll down here, first and foremost, hit stick mechanics, I have both of these things turned on, okay? And then we're going to go to auto flip defensive play call. I want that default on. I want defensive ball hawk also on. I want defensive heat seeker assist on and at 200%. There's some argument between this of whether you want it on or off or what percentage you want. This is what I have it at. Maybe there's better stuff. This is just what works for me. So feel free to mess with this if you want. Defensive switch assist, I want this on. This actually helps a ton, in my opinion, for switch sticking. And then controlled player art. That's actually how we see the player, the player of the player we are on for offense and for defense. I want this on as well. Keep in mind that your game settings will actually like randomly reset, I think, whenever you turn off your console or in between games or something. So just check this sometimes to make sure it's on, because mine consistently like will turn off randomly. But yeah, that's a quick rundown of the game settings that I actually use. And again, it's a lot of it's preference, right? You could definitely change it and fit your play style and win a ton of games, probably doing exactly the opposite of what I showed you. Cover 3 bombs are super popular. They happen all the time. They're easy to set up, and like it's basic to do a cover 3 bomb. I'm gonna give you 2 different ways to take away one-play touchdowns in Madden 25. First and foremost, what this one-play touchdown is out of the gun trips tight end offset. This is set up if you want a one-play touchdown against cover 3. There you go. Now, we are in cover 3 on defense. One of the easiest ways to stop a bomb that's getting over top of our deep zones, okay, that's important, like kind of key here. If a bomb's getting over top, is to take the deep zone defender that they're going over top of and then press A or X on him and then right on the right stick. Deep halves do a really good job for the most part of getting back deep. And to showcase this, I want you guys to see how this deep half on the right is going to defend against this bomb, right? Let's see him. He is going to get back. We can't throw Y right here, right? It was a touchdown play before. That play, it's no longer a touchdown. Now, keep in mind, deep halves do a better job of getting back, but they don't get to the sideline as well. So you are giving up potential, like, deep shots to the sideline, but it will stop the one-play touchdowns over top, and it baits a lot of people. Now, the next thing we can do is actually a little bit more advanced. It's probably my favorite, actually. It's a brand new thing this year, where, let me just spy my defensive line here for the sake of it. Keep in mind that when I call this play, it's going to be a one-play touchdown, but when I see it happening, I can actually switch stick, and I can get up there. And so using the switch stick can actually bait a lot of dudes into throwing one-play touchdowns. You either want to use the right stick and flick it in the direction of the player getting bombed, okay? So like in that case, I flicked onto the outside third on the right because that's who got bombed. Or you could be a little bit more aggressive and you could do something like this, which also does a really good job where it's like, okay. Oh, bomb. And now we're predicting where they're going to throw and we're able to get over there. And right there, they try going to where we left and we have somebody rotating to help against that as well. Okay. So switching on to a deep middle blue or one of your outside blues is really, really good. Now you might be like, okay, but how do I know when they're running a bomb? Well, part of it's just like recognizing what's happening on the field, right? If they have either ran this already this game, or you just kind of see somebody breaking open deep, you're like, wait a second, oh geez, bomb, you are able to click on and switch stick, and you are able to make a play, right? This is just like reading the play as it's happening, and it can take some time getting used to it. But if someone does this to you once in a game, you can expect that they're going to try it again. So again, using the switch stick is a great way, or simply just put a deep half on the side that they're trying to bomb, and it's going to do a really good job as well. You see right here again, right? They try to bomb it. Have that deep half. Bang. Really easy. 2 basic ways to take away one-play touchdowns. I am massive on making people have to work to score touchdowns and not just give them freebies. So looking at this defense, this is a cover 3 blitz, okay? But when we call a play, notice that we actually don't run cover 3. Instead, it's match. The way I can tell that is because the outside corner and even the middle linebacker and really just everybody on defense just matched and ran with different receivers. If we run this again, watch what my outside corner on the left here does. We snap the ball, and instead of going into his deep middle third, he is going to match. That is match coverage. A big thing to keep in mind that a lot of people don't know in Madden is that cover 3 blitzes are match coverage. Okay, it's always going to be some sort of cover 3 match. Even though, look, if we go to cover 4 quarters right here, look at the little tag that's in kind of purplish. It says match. In this blitz play, that little tag just says blitz. It says nothing about match coverage, but as I just showed right there, it is match. Now, typically, you can turn match off by turning a zone drop on. So we could do something like this, right? Just whatever the zone drop is. This will typically turn match coverage off. But with a cover 3 blitz, it actually doesn't. Okay, so we do the same thing. Watch my outside third right here. He's going to still actually match. It's very weird because this was palms or quarters. It wouldn't match anymore. But the way we could turn it off here is simply by pressing Y or triangle and down on the right stick to shade our coverage underneath. Simply doing that. Now let's watch what happens here. Watch what that outside third does on the left. He is going to actually play his area, and he actually is going to be there to be able to make a play on the ball. This is just really weird. And it's just something to keep in mind that to turn match off, you can just shade your coverage underneath or over top, and that'll totally eliminate the match for all matches. To turn off cover 4 quarters or cover 4 palms, you simply just need to have zone drops on, and that's going to turn the match off right there. And a huge thing to keep in mind always is that cover 3 blitzes are by default a match coverage unless you do what I said to turn them off. 90% of the time, you are going to want to have auto flip defensive play call on. This is inside your coaching adjustments on defense. To get to this, you're just going to click your right stick in, and it's going to come right here. Now, I'm going to tell you the times where you'd want this off, and I want to showcase why I typically recommend having it on, okay? So to showcase that, let's actually turn it off here. Now, on defense, I'm going to call nickel over. This is a nickel formation where you see number 6 on your screen right here. Number 6 is our slot corner, and he's creating a misaligned defense. We have more people to the left on this defense than we do to the right. So let's come out in this, and remember, our slot corner's to the left. Now, on offense, we're going to come out in gun tray open. This has our trips to the right. So you might be kind of seeing what's going to happen right here, where we're actually going to have my slot corner, number 6, Gordon, all by himself on the left side. He's on the weak side of the formation. We don't need him there, right? And what's happening on the right side now is I have linebackers who have to overcompensate, get out of the middle, and they have to actually align onto and match the alignment of these slot wide receivers. This can cause huge issues in coverage because we have linebackers matching up over top slot wide receivers, and in the run game because look at the box right here. We have nobody on the inside, so there's high potential for good runs just because we don't have linebackers in the box here, right? Whereas, check what happens if I flip my play, right? And this would be mimicking having auto flip defensive play call on. We flip by pressing X or square and then right trigger. Notice here how we have our slot corner on top of the slot wide receiver, and now we have a middle linebacker in the middle. What having auto flip defensive play call on does is make sure that we're always going to align to the numbers of the offense. So let's turn auto flip defensive play call on right here. Let's come back out in nickel and let's just do it. Notice here how we're automatically going to line up correctly, right? My slot corner is on the right side and we're good. What if we ran trips to the left here? Would he automatically line up the correct way? Let's see. Trips to the left. And we do. We have our slot corner lined up over top of the slot wide receiver. We have this middle linebacker in the box now. He's going to help us against the run, etc., etc. This is also even more like amplified when we're running baseline. Keep that in mind. It's like it causes a lot of issues in baseline. If I turn auto flip defensive play call off and then I go baseline here, right? Look what happens. I actually have nobody over top of these wide receivers to the right of your screen right here, right? Like both of these guys are uncovered. That's not good. So I highly recommend having auto flip defensive play call on unless you are running a symmetrical formation. So something like 4-3 over. Think about this. 4-3 over. If you just look at this formation, this is almost dang near identical both sides. The D tackles have slightly different alignments, but if we had auto flip defensive play call on or off, you wouldn't really notice too much. It's going to be symmetrical no matter what, right? Right here. What if we just flip the play? Notice only thing that happens when flipping is the defensive line changes, which you could negate that just by pinching your defensive line anyways, okay? That is why we want to have auto flip on typically, unless we're in a symmetrical formation, because we got to make sure we're matching alignment. If you don't match alignment, it just leads to a bunch of potential headaches in the run game, in pass coverage, in the RPO game, just across the board. So I'm a massive believer that one of the best things we can do on defense is just do not give up free touchdowns. Simple as that. Sounds easy, but there's a good chance you, and myself included, I do this all the time, give up free touchdowns a ton throughout a game. So one of the biggest reasons for this is that people don't know when they should and should not be running press coverage. Now, I'm going to give a few different examples of when I think you should and shouldn't be, and really the biggest issues that people run into. So right here, we're going to turn our auto alignment to default, okay? So we're in default alignment, and I'm going to come out in cover 3 sky. Now, if you notice right here, default alignment is going to keep my corners all lined up alignment-wise with their wide receivers. So you see Murphy Jr. on the outside. He is matched up alignment-wise with Bijan Robinson on the outside. And if we were just to put Bijan on a streak, we're just not going to be able to get it, right? And for the most part, that's just how it's going to be, unless there's a massive speed advantage, probably like 4 to 5 speed, typically what I have seen. It could differ based on certain routes and alignment and whatnot, but typically that's what I see. So for the most part, zone-wise, as long as you're in default alignment, you can get away with pressing. The biggest issue with pressing in default alignment zone is that if you're in cover 3, right, what's really open right here? The seam is wide open, especially on the wide side of the field, right? So if I were to do something like this on the left, look who's defending that. Really nobody, right? So if I snap this ball, even if Drake London gets chucked right there for a second, we're just able to hit up the seam, and it could be an easy one-play touchdown. Now, a couple of ways if we had to run cover 3 to defend this is that we could move this guy out, right? We could just not press, and that would help some too. We could man this guy up, move our safety down. There's a few different things we can do here, but just keep that in mind. Whereas if we pressed cover 2 or cover 4, we wouldn't run into that same issue as much with default alignment. But we run into a massive issue in default alignment, or I'm sorry, in pressing zone when we're base aligned. And this is a thing, like, you need to be aware of this. So let's go back to that cover 3. Let's get back onto offense here. And so before, our outside corners were lined up right on top of the wide receivers. We press right here. Look at my outside left. There is a massive gap between them, right? And so what happens with this is that it allows for these outside fade routes to sometimes get outside and above these corners. Let's see if we can get an example of it right here. You kind of see it right there. Like, that was something we could not do with the default alignment. And if we had a bigger speed advantage there, or maybe I had like a stock fade or something, we could make that even bigger. Let's see if we get it right here. Try loving. We're kind of getting bad passes, but we're still able to get up and above the corner, which just wasn't a thing in the normal alignment, right? And that's a big thing that we have, like, we really don't want that to be happening. Like, that is just begging for some stupid stuff to happen. Right there, there's a little bit of a bump even from it, and now that guy's wide open. So keep in mind, baseline pressed zone coverage to the wide side of the field misaligns sometimes. Because look at the right side right here. The right side's the short side. This guy's lined up perfectly, right? The guy on the right, let's go streak on the right side. Bang. Lines up perfectly. No issues, no anything. Pretty simple, pretty easy, okay? Whenever you're playing spread sets and you run baseline, you have to know this. If I was in something a little bit tighter, though, let's go to, like, bunch wide nasty. I don't care as much. Why? Because this guy, my outside wide receiver's inside of him, right? Even if we motion out, this formation just doesn't have very wide alignment, so we still have outside leverage. It's okay. But just keep that in mind for zone baseline to the wide side of the field. Your guys can get outflanked. Now, when it comes to man coverage, okay, if we go back to default alignment, I only want to press when I have some sort of safety help for the most part. And what I mean by that is like cover 2 man with help over top. That is, to me, that is massive. Because if I'm pressing and I get these guys not helping over top, these safeties, well, you'll see right here, Drake London on a streak. High potential for him to be a 1-play touchdown. Let's see if we can get it. Dang, we want getting like bad pass after bad pass with, who's my QB right now? Kirk Cousins. Come on, brother. But in this case, where we have safety help over top, there we go. Right, we're going to be able to throw this. But it's going to have, we're going to have that safety coming down so we can't pass lead up as much. We're going to have a little bit more leeway. Now, keep in mind, if it's a 4th and 2 for the game or something, 4th short yardage, then maybe we could press without that safety help. Or if we're in the red zone, we can do that. But if we're in the open field and we're running, let's say, a lot of people love doing this, cover 0. And let's see the play art right here. You've probably seen something like this. And we just go bang. Well, the pressure is screaming, but guess what? We're just gonna lob it up, and we have a good chance at being able to score a 1-play touchdown over the top. Let's see it again really fast. And this is something that a lot of people do. A lot of people do this cover 0, press everybody, then they're not sure why they give up a free touchdown, and that's why. Wow, I've missed every throw at Kirk Cousins. This dude's the worst. I wish he was still on the Vikings. I'm a Lions fan, but you guys kind of get the idea of when you should be and should not be pressing and kind of the risk that comes with that. So this right here is a standard 3-man pass rush with my user not blitzing. And what you're going to see here is not much pressure at all. You might even see some pancakes. Really, the only way to get much pressure with this is if you like have abilities. And right there, we got actually better sheds than you usually get setting 3. Now, this is a 3-man pass rush with my user blitzing, but I'm going to stand back kind of far. Okay, user is blitzing. We're standing back kind of far. Pretty much nothing is going to change here. You are still going to get the same crappy sheds. And, we kind of get a disengage right there. It's just bad sheds, okay? That's with a blitzing user, but we're not standing close to the line. Right here, sending 3, but we have our user blitzed, and we're standing close to the line. Now we're going to actually see some sheds. You see actually dual sheds right there off of both edges, something that we did not see the first 2 clips. Basically, what I'm getting at here, to be able to send 3 people and get sheds, your user needs to be blitzing near the line of scrimmage. You essentially need this little check mark above his head to be activated, okay? The issue with this is that you can't switch stick as well with it, right? You can't, like, push the left stick up and then, like, switch stick. Or you can't switch stick with the right stick when your user's blitzing. So in this case, the switch stick, you'd actually have to push the left stick in the direction you want to switch to and press B like that. So in this case, boom, now we're able to switch stick, and my user's going to come blitz, okay? So that's just a little thing, right? To switch stick with our user blitzing, we got to use the left stick in B, or circle, and we're going to be able to get better sheds. So you see the better shed right there again. I want to showcase this, though, again. If we stand, far back, we will not get those sheds. We might get disengages, but notice we're not getting sheds. We are getting no pressure. There's a massive difference. Eventually, we get a shed. Whereas if we stand close, right, let's go right here, snap this ball, we're going to get pretty decent shed. We actually see almost an auto shed off both at, like, massive difference. You need to be standing close if you only want to send 3, and you have to have your user blitzed. Okay? Boom. These 10 defensive tips are going to help you win more games, but if you want to win even more games, you got to check out this video right here where I break down the 10 best plays in Madden 25. These are must-adds into your offensive and defensive schemes right now.